Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be doing card magic, or card tricks. I don't know. These are not tutorials, just so you're aware. In the link below, I'll leave, or in the description down below, I'll leave some channels that you can find card magic on, like MLT, Magic Tricks, Million Card Tricks, I think that one's called, and Spidey Hypnosis, I believe there's one called. I mean, there's a bunch of really good YouTubers out there that can give you way better tutorials than I ever will. But today, yeah, I'm just going to be showing you guys some routines. Our first routine, it's a really simple card trick, but it's really cool. I really like it. I'd have the spectator choose two cards, say that one and that one. That's good. Gosh darn it, I can't get it. Okay, there we go. So then I'd start placing cards just like that. Excuse my stutter there. And I'd tell them to tell me when to stop. Say stop right there. I would take this, place it right there, have it face up. No, the trick is not to make it appear face up, though I could do that a little bit later. I would then do the same thing for the other cards. Say stop right there. This is a genuinely free choice, no matter how many times I do it. I would then spread the deck out again, and I'd say you chose anywhere in the deck, these two places, completely random, but I'm going to say that this is the 5 of diamonds, and this is the king of clubs. So yeah, that's the first trick. It's an interesting trick, but it's really simple, really effective, and I really enjoy it. For this next trick, I'm going to have to ask you to excuse me. This is like a normal routine for me, by the way. These are tricks I'd perform normally. But I'm going to get the royal cards of 3 suits. So we have clubs, diamonds, and, of course, hearts. So, I'm going to go down the line here. We're not going to use spades. One card, I think. Yeah. That's it. So, we have the cards at 3 suits. So for this trick, I'm going to have the spectator help me mix up these cards as much as possible. I'd ask them which suit would they want first. Say they say clubs, so I would gather them up. And normally I'd have the spectator do this, but I'm alone in here, so I'm going to mix up the cards. You can see my hands the entire time, and you can see the cards the entire time. I'm not doing anything funny. I'm just genuinely mixing up the cards. Good, well. So, whenever they want, I'm just going to stop there. But they can mix up as much or as little as they want. Then I have them choose the next suit. Say they say hearts, you know, because they don't want to just go down the line. That'd be too obvious, right? Well, again, they would mix them up and... And again, I would have them mix up this last suit. Of course, there's no choice there because there's only one suit left. I don't know what other choice they want, but again, I'd lay it out. Then I'd ask them how they want the deck to, or these packets to be arranged. So this one could go on this one, or however they want. Say they want this one right there, which is good. And then I'd say, do they want this deck on top or bottom? Say they say bottom, so just like that. So that's all fine and dandy. Then I ask them how many times they want the deck to be cut. Let's say they say 3 times. So they're 1, 2, 3. Now these are all free choices. They can do any of this however they want. or the spectator can anyway. So then I'd lay the cards out like that, and I'd have them and then whatever. I'd ask them, do they want this on top or bottom, or, you know, which one do they want on top, and let's say they say they want this one on the bottom, which is perfectly fine. So, just like that. Now I'm going to explain that I have an in with the suit gods. If I pray to them, they will assist me in making these suits come back together. So I'm going to go C, L, U, B, H, E, A, R, T, and D, I, A, M, O, N, D. And just make sure you don't think I'm tricking you, I'm going to go that way. So I'm going to go C, L, U, B, H, E, A, R, T, D, I, A, M, O, N, D. And just so I'm not mixing up three cards, I'm just going to place them like that. Now, we mix those up really good, and I explained during the whole trick, pretty much the entire trick, I explained that the spectator would be doing most of this, so there's no, like, sleight of hand or anything that I did there, but there should be no way that those suits ever ended up back together, except for the fact that every single one did end up back together. I mean, how, right? Well, I'm not going to tell you, because like I said, this is not a tutorial. I also apologize for the kind of crappy setup. This camera right here is literally on a chair. I mean, you can see the wheels right here. You know, I made do with what I could, alright? Not all of us have big fancy rigs, so, I'm going to shuffle this deck up. You can probably clearly hear me shuffling, so I'm going to shuffle one more time. Oh, I missed some of the cards. So I'm going to be... Alright, so this next trick, I'd have the spectator choose any card that they would like. Let's say they chose this one. So I will look away now. So that will be the card. So coming back, I would then explain that I want them to put it back anywhere they'd like. So, say they just stick it back right there. So this is the cool part. I'm then going to take two cards off the top and explain that these are in fact not their card, right? And we have my deck right here, except for the fact that I'm going to snap my fingers, and just like that, the whole deck ended up face up except for one card, which is the spectator's card. Interesting, right? You know what, because I'm feeling generous, I'll give a quick sneak peek at how that one is done. This trick is a setup trick, so basically what I do is, this deck is again, this is a normal deck of cards. Like, you could do this with any deck of cards. I'd have these three cards face down like this, and when the spectator picks a card, say they pick this one, the 10 of diamonds, yes, I'm looking at that one. While they're looking at it, I just subtly flip the deck over, because now all of them are face up, except these top three. So then they would stick it back in, unaware that the deck is all face up, and I would just slightly, you don't want to do that, you don't want to reveal the top card. You can push block off two cards, so basically you're holding your fingers right here, and using your thumb to slide off two cards, and it makes the deck, I mean, you can kind of show the corner, because they're all have borders on them, but, I mean, you can show that this is a completely normal deck of cards at the beginning of the trick. Then you just turn two face up, like that, and then I like to give a snap, and they end up face up, but obviously that I mean, obviously how that works is they're sticking their card into an upside down deck of cards, so without the knowledge of it's a normal deck of cards, right? So this next trick, I'd have the spectator try and cut roughly in half. Say they cut there. I would then I'd then count the bigger of two piles, so this one is clearly bigger. I'm gonna just so they cut way further into the deck, but that's okay. So what I'd have the spectator do is for this trick, I am going to look at the card, though I would not know it during the normal performance because it kind of has to be like this for this trick. So then I ask the spectator which of these three decks would they like. Let's say they choose this one. I would then have them choose normally I'd do this. I'd have them choose, or not really choose, like they're not going to physically take a card, but let's say they choose the 9 of hearts here. They wouldn't point at it, they'd just have it in their mind. They can tell people around them without me hearing, but that's okay. I would gather up the decks, and then I deal them one by one here. I would tell the spectator to choose any of these three piles. Say they choose this one. I'm going to explain throughout the entire trick that we're trying to establish a link with the card that they chose, the 9 of hearts. So then I'd fan them out and, oh, there it is, right there. So I'd ask them if they can visually see their card. They say yes, I'd say perfect. So I would gather them up, and then I do the exact same thing. So I'd square these decks back up, and then I'd tell them which of the piles do they want. Say they say this top one right there, and I would fan them out. Now this is perfect because I'm glad I didn't choose all three times, because that's how many times I do this. If they see the card, they're going to say no. So I would say, that's all right. We're going to eliminate it. We can put it up there if they like. So I would then ask them to choose one of these two piles. Let's say they choose this one. I'd ask them if they visually see their card. They'd say no again, which means that the 9 of hearts, or which I wouldn't know yet, but the 9 of hearts is right there. So I would gather up the decks and say, let's do it one more time. So I would then say, let's do this one more time, and they say, all right, let's do this pile. So we go through, they cannot see their card. That's okay. Put it off to the side, let's say they choose this one. I'm just randomly choosing. So they would say, again, no, I cannot see it there. So I'd say, that's okay, and then it must be in here, yeah? So there it is right there. But again, I would not know this. So during this entire trick, I am completely in the dark about what card it is. Now, sometimes I like to mix it up. Sometimes I'll hand the deck to my spectator, or I'll do it myself, but I'd say that I'm going to have them slowly deal. Don't count, just slowly deal cards face down until I feel like they see their card. Now I'm going to do that. So, and say they stop right there. So I would then tell them that they had a link with their card the entire time because that card that they stopped on was their card. Now, again, sometimes I do this, and I know where their card is. I'm not going to explain it, but, you know. So, that was one of my favorite tricks. I do really greatly enjoy that trick. It's a really cool trick to shuffle my deck. Let's see, I might do 2 more. That's it. That's good. You know what, 2 more is good. Sorry. So, I really quickly want to tell you that I am working on more merch. So, don't worry if you're one of the people, say, at school, that really wanted the merch. There is going to be an opportunity. The merch that I have and a select few others have, that was kind of a gift to them, so if you want some of my merch, don't worry, there will be opportunities for you to get it, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to make that announcement. So, here we go. I'm going to have the spectator choose 3 cards, and just for simplicity's sake, let's say they choose these 3. Now, it's alright for me to see them, because that's alright, but I tell them to remember the number 14. It's going to be very important here. So I square up the deck, and 8's on top, so we'll just go with 8. So I'm going to go 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Place that 8 right there, and then pop it right there on the bottom. And I'd square this deck up again, and I'd have them choose out of these 2 cards which one they want. So let's say they choose the 9. So it's going to be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Pop that right there. And then the 10. So it's 11, 12, 13, 14. So we'll square up that deck, and then, sorry, I had an itch. So then I would fan these cards back out, and I would show them that they stopped at 2 places. Well, I mean, they stopped at 3 places technically, but, you know, 2 places is good enough. So, I didn't even realize there's 8, 9, 10 right there. So, I would then show that those places that they stopped were not just any random places. In fact, I was pulling the strings the whole time, and they stopped at an ace, except for one ace, the ace of spades. So, I would then explain that the 14 was good, yes, but we need to add up their cards to get the last card. This is 27 right here. It's simple math. So I would go 1, you can't see that. Yeah, it's for 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. And this 27 card is not the ace of spades. Neither is that one, but is that one. Isn't that something? I will say I messed it up slightly. I must have miscounted at some point, but the point still stands. They got close enough to that ace, so I will consider that a slightly messed up trick, but I did not mess it up that badly, so. Okay, I shuffled this deck up, and I would then cut roughly in half. So, right there. So, I would then have the spectator choose one of these two packets. And I'd explain that there are 4 aces all together. Those 4 aces I just showed you, they're all together in one of these 2 packets. Say they choose this one, I would flip it face up, and I would say that they chose, but they chose poorly because there's no aces here. They're not together. And I'd say, but at the same time, and it's very important that I don't flip these over because we're going to be meeting the back of them soon. And I would show that at the same time, if they chose this packet, they still wouldn't have been right. There's no aces here. So I would then say that they were kind of tricked the whole time. The aces weren't in here. They were invisible in my other hand. So I'd pop it right there, kind of mix it in, and I'd snap my fingers, and now they've just became visible because right there, all 4 aces have just been revealed. So, isn't that so cool? So, that is all the time I have today, but I would like to thank you all so much for watching. I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, please leave a big fat thumbs up right on the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will even get my bell. Ring it. Ring that bell. But yeah, that's all the time I have for today. But if you want to see more like this, leave a comment down below in the video. I will leave links to those channels I mentioned earlier that do card tutorials. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!